Hello and welcome to Managing Money with Money Control. I am Kayezad Adajania and I have with me over here noted financial planner Gaurav Mashruwala. This is a four-part series where we're talking to Gaurav on wills and estate management. And today in episode number 3, we're going to be talking about the nitty-gritties of making an error-free will. So Gaurav, let me first start by asking you, is that, we've spoken about transferring assets, we've spoken about transferring our wealth to our next in kin. What happens if we have some liabilities and taxes? Do they also get transferred when we make a will, or do you need to provision for that in the will?
Well, Kayezad, I normally recommend people that the opening lines of the will, obviously after you introduce yourself and the family and all, should be that from the consolidated assets, pay off all the taxes and levies which are prevalent by the government at that point of time, because you don't know the time of death what will be. Plus there could be some pending taxes. If there's obviously death will not happen immediately after the audited account. So that's number one. Now when it comes to liabilities, there could be two implications, and hence it's important to clear, because what can happen is either the person who's dying may say that from the total assets pay off all the liabilities, which is one option. Or he may say that depending on who's getting what, it's that person's responsibility to pay liabilities. So for example, if there is a home loan, now should home loan be paid from the consolidated assets or the person who's going to own the house? But hence it's very, very important that this clarity is given. In the absence of this clarity, it's more or less assumed that it will go from the consolidated wealth that is there. So taxes, levies paid, liabilities paid, and then the distribution.
So you need to actually make a mention of it in the will, or is it
as far as liabilities is concerned, yes. For taxes also you may want to, but as of now, I think a general line for taxes is fine. Liabilities, this clarification is recommended.
So tell us a step-by-step method of actually how to write a will, how to make a will, and who should you be appointing to take it forward?
So here are simple steps. Of course, there is no particular format that law specifies, but your name, ideally ensure the way you spell your name and write your name is matching with some government document, preferably passport or Aadhaar card, your address. Also mention who all are there in your family. That will help, wife, children. After that, a line or two about how you acquired assets in terms of your own earning, inheritance, etc. Thereafter, the two lines that we discussed, and then you start equating who gets which asset. And in the end, you may also want to make a general line saying any asset situated in any part of the world. Support this with a name of an executor. There can be 1, 2, 3. Ideally, I recommend odd number executors, and there have to be 2 witnesses who are present when you are signing.
So executors, you say odd numbers, you say more than 2 executors. Because I was under the impression that if you have 1 executor, he or she is going to execute the will. Why do you say multiple executors?
So there can be. So there can be 1, there can be 2, there can be 3. There is no, law doesn't say you can't have more than 1. No. You may want to have 3, you may want to have 5, you may want to have 2. The recommended strategy is that ensure the executor does not have any linkage, relationship with any of the beneficiaries, because there could be vested interest. But again, there is nothing that law speaks about it. So either one, if you're going to have, if you want more than 1, then try and have odd numbers. So in case there is a debate, or there is some dispute, then there'll be odd numbers, so it'll be easier to get the...
So it could be a financial planner, could be a doctor, could be a lawyer.
Could be anybody. It could be a friend, it could be a relative. Ensure the person is capable and trustworthy, both. So one is, should be trustworthy. But only trustworthy and not capable is a problem. And capable and not trustworthy is a bigger problem. Yeah. So ensure that he is both trustworthy, capable, and check with that person that he is willing to do it. I've seen instances where the person is not willing, and only later on that person comes to know, and then he says, I don't want to do it. Now he can technically go to court and say that relinquish me of these responsibilities. In that case, court will step in. So please inform the executor, are you willing to handle these? And ideally, executor and witness should be younger than you. Okay. In case they die, you'll have to change the will, not necessarily they will.
That's an important point. The other thing, what comes to our mind is that, when you're transferring your assets, it's not just about your financial assets, not just about your cash. It's about it could be about your real estate, could be about your jewelry. So should you be concerned about the valuation of these assets, or is it the headache of the person who's going to inherit them?
Oh, thanks a million for asking me this question, because the amount of problems that comes up, see, one is jewelry. Now, so many times it's said that equal distribution between two daughters or daughter-in-law, whatever. Now say there is a necklace. What are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to break it? That's one option. Second is they go to a government-approved valuer, get the valuations done, and if they can sort out amongst themselves, brilliant. If they can't make a provision, can they pay off each other?
Okay.
I mean, it's the tester of the will, the person who's making the will, that person has a choice. The another simpler way which I recommend so many times is take photographs of the jewelry, make it part of the will, and behind the photographs write down who gets what. Much, much easier. Also make a provision saying that if need be, they can break the jewelry, because don't get into ancestral and whatever.
What about the assets that we acquire when, let's say, over a period of time that could be lying outside India, international assets? Could be anything. How do
So there could be assets, because now Indians are highly, highly mobile. They could have been working in India, working abroad. Now in such situation, we'll have to check which laws are applicable. Okay. Certain countries, and this is just an example and I haven't verified, but Singapore accepts Indian will. And they said bequeathing as per Indian will. Many other countries don't. Some countries also have estate duty. Okay. So ideally, there should be one more will which is acceptable by law in that country. And in both the wills, make a reference. In Indian will say all the assets in this particular country are by the will which is there, and if you want, attach a copy. And similarly, will in that country. Now, certain countries, for example, again, UK, but these are all my hands-on experience. I haven't studied, I don't have the license, but there they don't accept any other piece. Okay. As an attachment or annexure. That was my thought process. It could have changed. So you will have to consult a local lawyer or attorney or estate planner to help you. But the moment there are assets across border, keep in mind that you may require more than one will.
Okay. What about digital assets?
Well, we have usernames and passwords. And
lot of photos, lot of content, lot of blogs.
Lot of stuff there. As of now, Indian laws, I don't think are still modified. While there were discussions, I would encourage people to at least make a note as to who will get access to it, who will get access to those username and password. Okay. Google had policy, Gmail had some policy in between. I don't know what's the latest status, because again, those companies are not governed always by Indian laws. See, when it comes to digital asset, which laws will govern them is also an issue. Okay. So it's safe to put a line and leave it.
With that, it's a wrap-up of Managing Money with Money Control. Stay tuned for Money Control for more news and updates.